Good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us on this week's edition of the Milford Informer. I am your host, Tim Coet. It feels like we are still waiting for those comfortable spring temperatures to reach the area. Despite some of the more crisp conditions we've experienced in the last week, we do have a few outdoor activities to recap from around the community. Let's fill you in on the details as we present this week's Top Stories Rundown. Tonight, find out how the Milford Area Special Olympics gave young athletes a chance to participate in a series of fun athletic competitions at an event held over at Milford High School. Also tonight, we'll take you inside this week's Board of Selectmen meeting, where one local developer gave a proposal for a friendly 40B building project in town. And later in sports, we'll have some offensive-heavy highlights to show you, as both the Milford baseball and softball teams put on strong hitting displays throughout the week. Recently, the Milford Area Special Olympics held an event over at the Milford High School athletic fields, geared toward giving younger kids an opportunity to get outside and experience some of the unique athletic experiences the Special Olympics has to offer. We were excited to bring our cameras out to the event. Here's a look back at the 4th annual School Day Games.
So Special Olympics is an opportunity for kids with and without disabilities to compete together on the field. We have unified sports, and then we have traditional Special Olympics where kids with intellectual disabilities have their own teams and compete every year. What School Day Games is about is giving our younger athletes who are not exposed to Special Olympics an opportunity to see what it's all about.
I'm here volunteering, helping out at the games, running stations, kind of hyping everybody up, cheering everybody up, having a great time. I really started getting involved like these past 2 years. Me and Marky hanging out all the time, have a great time. I love participating in Special Olympics. I do Special Olympics wrestling, a couple other things here and there. So I really just like to give back, and this is just such a fun way to do it.
It's kind of awesome, and just seeing the kids happy is really great, and we're doing good.
So we have stations set up, and the activities are all just games and fun opportunities for the kids to exercise and have fun together as a team. So they're traveling in their teams and they're rotating around in the stations.
We did hula hoops, beanbag toss, and then soccer on both stations.
I've done Special Olympics for 30 years, but the School Day Games, this is only the 4th year doing that, exposing the younger children to the Special Olympics.
Jen's done an amazing job these past couple years running events like this and doing days like this. It's really incredible. She's a saint around this town, helping out with the Special Olympics programs and stuff, so it's really amazing what she's been able to do.
It takes a lot of people to pull this event off, so we couldn't do it without everybody's volunteering and pitching in, athletic director, the administration at the school, and everybody. But it's just supposed to be a fun celebration of the Special Olympic athletes.
Jen is, I got nothing to say. I really love Jen so much.
We love the Special Olympics!
I love Special Olympics!
The topic of 40B building projects has been a controversial topic in the Milford community. As the town looks for ways to deal with meeting state mandates for affordable housing, local developer Kevin Lobiser presented the board with a proposed friendly 40B project. For more details on the proposal, let's take a look inside this past week's Board of Selectmen meeting.
The reason why I wanted to sit down with the board tonight was to obviously explain the project, but also to find out what your level of interest would be to file jointly with us on a local initiative, which is basically a friendly 40B. The benefits of the friendly 40B would be that instead of the normal course of action, which would be a developer would file with DHCD, get a site eligibility letter, and then just show up with the ZBA, it's sort of a shock to the town. As I said, I've been in town for 47 years, and I'm not interested in shocking the town. So that was my biggest reason for wanting to come to see you guys tonight. I know it's obviously a pretty detailed process, and I just wanted to start off by showing you the project and see what you guys thought. This is the Birch Street Fire Station, and our road, we actually do have an access through there. It's a deeded right for us. Our road will be approximately 900 feet. It's going to consist of 4 buildings. 3 of the buildings are 36 units. 1 of the buildings is 48 units, which is the lower building, because we do have a walkout condition. Oh, sorry about that. We're also trying to provide some scattered detached garages for each of the buildings. It's only gonna total about 32 garages, but it's just a, just to offer some of the people a little enclosure. Let's see, we have proposing a mailroom. We're proposing a dog kind of area fenced in. And, each of the buildings would be served with an elevator so that they're all fully accessible. So they really are going to be available for anybody from, millennials on up to any age. So that's the neat thing about that. One of the things, though, is that when the town doesn't have zoning for apartments, you do have to go under typically some sort of a 40B plan. The downside to that is that when you do apply as a 40B, whether it's a friendly or it's not, you are obligated to do 10% of the units as 3-bedroom. So there could be, honestly, there could be a few kids in the project. So it's not like you can just direct it to be just 1-bedroom or just 2-bedroom. So our current thing would be, the total is 156 units, and 10%, which is rounded up, is 16 units. And then I believe we were around, I have the numbers over here, but I had 62 units that were going to be 1-bedroom and 78 that were going to be 2-bedroom. So that was the general mix of what we were looking to do. Some of the concerns that we were looking at was, we do know that we do have the burn tower that currently exists at the fire department. Just for illustration purposes, again, I know this is kind of light. The closest unit that this is, I should have said, that the project that does abut us is Birch Hill condos. Their closest unit is 250 feet to the burn tower. Our closest unit would be 275. So I think that they're currently existing with that situation. Our closest unit to the existing Birch Street to our building is approximately 200 feet. We've already done all of the topography. We have located the wetlands, and you guys are the first board I'm coming to see.
What is the process?
Under the friendly 40B?
Yes.
So under the friendly 40B, again, the benefit is that we would be able, as a developer, we'd be able to work with some of the town agencies, obviously the police department, fire department, get things introduced to Concom to make sure that they're comfortable with what we're going to do. We would then be coming back to the board, if you were interested. We'd come back to the board with hopefully positive recommendations from all those, different agencies. And then we would, as a developer and as the Board of Selectmen, we would jointly sign the application that would be filed to DHCD. It takes about 60 days to hear back from DHCD to receive a site eligibility letter. Okay. Now, that is typically, the site eligibility letter is what always triggers your first meeting with the zoning board to start, to start the process of a typical 40B. So obviously, in a friendly 40B, the ZBA would have known about this, through all these other channels the whole entire time. So the hope is that by the time you get to that point, we've already kind of hashed out a project that makes sense.
If the developer came to us from Ohio.
Oh, you could probably put, I do work with a 40B consultant on a regular basis, and I hope that you guys get to meet him maybe at the next meeting. I just didn't want to overwhelm people with too many people tonight. His first thought to me was, why wouldn't you be doing 350 units there? And it was the same answer that I started off our meeting. I'm from Milford.
Right, I live there.
The biggest thing is that currently, as of the end of March, the town of Milford is only at about 6.3% affordability. So it's leaving the town about, really open to some tough 40Bs because they're about 424 units short. Another thing that we would be doing, or I would be proposing, is that I would put all of these affordables in perpetuity so that there was no expiration on the affordability of the units.
Yeah, I want to make sure it's clear to people the difference between affordability and low income.
We would not be looking for federal or state funding to build the project. So that is one of the things that you need to be able to do if you're going to do a friendly 40B. And we would be funding this, privately. On top of that, we will not be, it will not be dictated to us on what we have to do for the affordability. So our affordability, the first tier of affordability is 80% median income for our area.
Okay, all right.
Which is scary because that really means it's police officers, fire department, school teachers, highway department. It's not, this is not Section 8 housing. This is not subsidized housing.
Right.
It's not 70%, it's not 60%, it's 80% of the median income.
Okay. From a philosophical standpoint, I just want to say it's 6.3%. Meeting 6.3% of the state requirements is not going to make it. So we've got to find a way, and neither is saying no to everything, because that frankly will not work. So the difference is how to get to 10%. We get to 10%, the unfriendly 40Bs can't knock on our door, have no right to visit, and are not going to dictate terms. If we're not encouraging friendly 40Bs, then we're not going to get to the 10%. We're just going to wait for the unfriendly ones.
In less than 2 weeks, the spring sports season will be at an end, and we will be looking ahead to the MIAA tournament. The softball team has already guaranteed their spot in the tournament. We'll have more on the girls in a moment. The baseball team, meanwhile, entered this week needing at least 3 wins over the course of their final 8 games to earn their way back into the playoffs. The team faced a stiff challenge in their first game of the week, taking on the first-place team in the Davenport standings. Let's show you the highlights of the Scarlet Hawks versus the Stoughton Black Knights. Back on April 10th, Stoughton pounded Milford for 15 runs on 16 hits in what turned out to be a mercy rule defeat. The Hawks hoped to earn a split of the regular season series as they played host to the Black Knights at Pheno on Monday. As the top of the first inning unfolded, Stoughton's offense picked up right where they left off against Milford pitching. After the Knights scored their first run on a groundout, Evan Gibb and Luke Johnson produced back-to-back doubles against Milford starting pitcher Nate Irwin. The Knights would send 7 batters to the plate in the inning to pick up a quick 3-0 lead. As Milford came to the plate in the bottom of the inning, they would face off against Stoughton starter Justin Hutchinson, who entered the game with a 7-0 record and a minuscule .88 ERA. The Hawks would see 2 of their first 3 batters reach against Hutchinson, which ended up setting the table for a monster inning for the Milford offense.
And now Zach Tamani quickly, first pitch swinging, sends that ball out into left. Arcudi comes in to score. A bobble out into right will allow Wild to come in right behind. And 2 runs cross the plate on the single for Zach Tamani. And just like that, Milford is back within a run. It's a 3-2 score. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Masick, and this is flared out to shallow center field. A long run for Haggerty. It drops in front of him. Tamani now comes to the plate. He will score without a throw, and it's an RBI single for Alex Masick that ties this game at 3. The bases are loaded for Mobilia, who swings at the first pitch, drives it out to right field, and that's over the head of Sullivan. It rolls off towards the right center field gap. 2 runs in for Milford. Now here comes Cambrola all the way around from first base. It is a bases clearing double for Tony Mobilia, and that puts Milford on top by a score of 6-3. Here is the 1-2 pitch. This is a line drive back up the middle, down for a hit. They'll wave Mobilia around from third base. The throw dribbles past the cutoff man as Mobilia comes in to score the second hit of the inning for Ryan Gonsalves. And it drives in the 7th run of the inning for the Scarlet Hawks, a 7-3 lead now.
The Hawks got to Justin Hutchinson to the tune of 7 runs on 7 hits, driving one of the league's best pitchers from the game after just 2/3 of an inning. They'd carry that 7-3 lead into the top of the second inning, but Stoughton's offense was ready to respond. The bottom of the order bats would spark a rally with a single and a walk. After Irwin struck out Ruben Gonzalez, the next 3 Stoughton batters would all drive in runs, with Jack Connolly providing the 3rd RBI double of the game. Irwin would escape the inning by striking out Evan Gibb, and after just an inning and a half, the score would be 7-6 with Milford clinging to a 1-run lead. After Ryan Sullivan was able to put an end to the Milford rally coming in relief in the first inning, he'd continue to provide quality pitching as the game went on. He would keep the Hawks off the scoreboard in the second and third innings, collecting 4 of his 6 strikeouts over that span. Milford would finally get to Sullivan in the bottom of the 4th. With a runner on second and 2 out, Tyler Renault would drive a ball out to left that would bring the runner to the plate, upping the Milford lead to 8-6. Meanwhile, after allowing 6 runs on 7 hits through his first 2 innings of work, Nate Irwin would shut things down for the remainder of the game. He would allow just 3 hits and 4 total base runners over the final 5 innings. The Knights would bring the tying run to the plate with 1 out in the 7th, but Irwin would get out of it as the ball game would come to an end with this nice running catch in center field by Ryan Gonsalves. Milford earns an important division victory as they beat the Stoughton Black Knights by a final score of 8-6. The boys continued their winning streak on Wednesday when they traveled to Canton High School. The Hawks once again used a lopsided inning to break out to a big lead as they scored 5 runs in the 3rd. Ryan Gonsalves and Anthony Arcudi were front and center in the offensive attack, combining for 5 hits and 4 runs scored. Milford also got another strong start from Alex Masick, who pitched 6 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. Canton would mount a comeback in the 7th, but it would not be enough as the Hawks would defeat the Bulldogs by a final score of 8-4. So with those 2 wins, Milford now stands 1 victory away from clinching a playoff spot. The team hopes to earn that victory tonight as they host non-conference rival Hopedale in the team's annual senior night game under the lights at Pheno Field. Milford TV is at the field as we speak, so we will have full game coverage next week on the Educational Channel, and we'll also have highlights here on the Informer next Friday. Now on to our softball update. Despite securing their playoff spot in the tournament nearly 2 weeks ago, the Lady Hawks refused to take their foot off the accelerator. The girls were greeted with 3 consecutive games on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. Monday and Tuesday's games both resulted in dominant victories for the girls, first defeating Stoughton on the road by a final of 14-0, and then they dealt Sharon a 12-0 Mercy Rule loss at home on Tuesday. On Wednesday, the girls looked to make it 3 wins in 3 days as they hosted the winless Canton Lady Bulldogs. Once again, let's take a look at full highlights. The Milford offense has produced double-digit run totals 8 times so far on the season, including 4 out of their last 5 games. They hoped to continue their hot hitting as they took their home field against the Canton Lady Bulldogs on Wednesday. It did not take long for the Hawks offense to get rolling. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 1st, Maggie Farrell hit a grounder to short that was misplayed by Jacqueline Howard, keeping the inning alive. Milford would end up making that error hurt as Jess Tomaso lined a double out to left that would bring home the first Milford run of the day. Caitlin DeCapua would follow up with an RBI single, giving Milford a 2-0 lead after 1 inning. The Canton offense would look to produce a rally of their own in the top of the 2nd against Milford starter Kelly Reichert. 3 of the first 4 Canton batters would record hits in the inning, with this line drive by Jacqueline Howard pushing across the first Bulldogs run. Canton would end up running into 2 outs on the bases, however, so the inning would end with Milford still in front. After Milford failed to score in the 2nd inning, their bats would start to wake up in the bottom of the 3rd.
About to see a 2-2 pitch, and she hits this one hard fair down the left field line, rolling towards the fence. Extra bases for Pierre Gustavo as she will hustle into second base with her 6th double of the season. The middle of the month of May, still waiting for the warm spring weather to arrive. Maggie Farrell warm with the bat as she sends that ball to the right field fence. Extra bases, she touches second. She's thinking 3. There will not be a throw into third base as Maggie Farrell comes through with an RBI triple. A light breeze blowing in here at the softball field as Farrell sends this ball high in the air out to left field, and that ball is gone. A towering fly ball for Jess Tomaso. It just kept drifting, and nothing Allie Chin could do about it in left field. Here's her 0-2 pitch, and it's floated again out to shallow center field, and that drops in front of Carrington. It lands for a hit, and 2 runs cross the plate as DeCapua and Bonina score. A 2-run, 2-out single for Kate Irwin, and that ups Milford's lead to 7-1.
With the game already well in hand, the Lady Hawks offense would explode once again when they came to bat in the 4th.
Swings at the first pitch and drives it deep. out to left center field, to the fence, and that is gone. Hartman connects on her 4th home run of the season. This one a 3-run shot. And that will put Milford into double digits yet again, taking a 10-1 lead on the Lady Bulldogs. And Pierre Gustavo now sending this ball deep out to left center field. That stays in the yard, but 2 runs will come in as Cormier crosses the plate. Irwin right behind on a 2-run double for Emily Pierre Gustavo. And the route is on here in Milford. It is now 13-1.
Once again, the Lady Hawks offense was simply unstoppable. The girls collected 18 hits in the game, including 5 doubles, a triple, and a pair of home runs. In the end, Milford would need just 5 innings to walk away with their 15th consecutive victory as they defeated Canton by a final score of 19-1. Coming up on Saturday, the Hockomock Area YMCA will be hosting Healthy Kids Day. The event promises a day of creative, challenging, and healthy fun for children. Some of the events throughout the day include camp activities, t-shirt tie-dyeing, gymnastics, obstacle courses, fitness challenges, and much more. There will also be plenty of prizes and raffles. The Healthy Kids Day is being held this Saturday, May 13th at Patriot Place in Foxborough from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Healthy Kids Day is a free event. For more information, log on to hocymca.org/healthy-kids-day. Coming up next Saturday, the Greenleaf Garden Club will be hosting a plant sale. The sale will feature homegrown perennials, annuals, vegetable plants, and more. There will be refreshments available as well. The plant sale will take place rain or shine on Saturday, May 20th at the Louisa Lake parking lot on Dilla Street from 8 a.m. to noon. And here is another reminder that next Saturday, residents are encouraged to come out to Town Park for the 2nd annual Celebrate Milford. This day-long event will celebrate the rich history and tradition of the Milford community, while offering residents a chance to enjoy some delicious food, great music, and fun for the whole family. There will be a giant kids' play zone area, food vendors, a beer garden, and musical acts performing throughout the day. As a nonprofit, Celebrate Milford will also hold events throughout the day to help raise money to give back to organizations and charities within the community. Celebrate Milford is set to take place on Saturday, May 20th, all around Town Park from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. For more information on the event, you can head to the website celebratemilford.com. As you can imagine, we will be sports heavy on next week's edition of The Informer. We will take a look back on the baseball team's senior night game, as well as the softball team's matchups with Foxborough, as well as North Attleboro. We'll see if we can sneak in interviews with some of the players and coaches as well. We hope you will join us again next week. Until then, from all of us here at Milford TV, this is Tim Coet saying have a great week. So long, everybody.